Welcome to Frontline at 6 o'clock here on the East Coast, and we begin tonight with some breaking news. The Federal Reserve today cutting interest rates by 25 points, a third such cut this year. We'll have much more on this in just a moment. Also, tensions escalating between the U.S. and Venezuela after the president made this announcement just a short time ago.
We've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, a large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually.
Trump adding other things are happening, and he'd speak more about it later. And some heartwarming news about the recovery of the National Guardsman Andrew Wolf, who was shot 2 weeks ago today by an Afghan national allowed in under Joe Biden.
Today I got a call that he got up from bed. Do you believe that? He got up. He got up. He didn't speak. He's not ready for that yet. He got hit in the head. But he got up, and boy, they're so happy. It's amazing.
Incredible news there. Miracles can truly happen. But first, the so-called affordability crisis. Is this yet another hoax by the Democrats? I'm Lidia Curanaj in for Carl Higbie. And Frontline starts right now. Dream once included owning your own home. But a new report now revealing that home ownership is considered a luxury and that a staggering 75% of Americans are being priced out. 75%. President Trump's effort to help home buying has been top of his agenda from day one. The Fed announcing just a short time ago that it just cut interest rates to their lowest point since 2022 by slicing it another 25 basis points.
The idea is that with now having cut 75 basis points more now and having policy, I'd call it in a broad range of plausible estimates of neutral, that will be a place which will enable the labor market to stabilize or to only tick up 1 or 2 more tenths. But we won't see, any kind of a sharper downturn, which we haven't seen any evidence of at all.
The median price of a home is about $415,000 nationwide, with home prices rising dramatically in the last 4 years, of course, under Joe Biden. The Department of Housing and Urban Development revealing that unchecked and unvetted migration of foreigners put a strain on our housing market from a supply as well as an affordability standpoint. The report finding that between 2021 and 2024, in just 3 years, the United States foreign-born population accounted for more than 60% of rental demand, housing over 6 million foreigners.
My message to our colleagues on the left, to Democrats in Congress, think about those people who have elected you to carry out the job that you're supposed to be carrying out. Move politics to the side and focus on the principle.
Secretary Turner, I wish I could be more optimistic, because the problem is the Democrat principle is simply to get votes. Democrats, they don't care if immigrants work or contribute to society. These latest wave of immigrants, they're not like my parents or your great-grandparents or your grandparents or maybe even yourself watching this show right now. My parents on day 2 of coming to the United States, we all talk about this, they began walking the streets of Manhattan for hours, all day, my mom would say, looking for work. And by week's end, just in 1 week, both of them had full-time paying jobs, and they never once received a government handout. 5 kids living in the Bronx, 2-bedroom apartment, right? 12 million people, though, imported by the Biden administration. Folks, this was all by design.
Essentially, we're paying people to come here from somewhere else in vast numbers, including flying them in. So, it's not like you need a border wall if you're flying them in. Then fast-tracking them to citizenship and making them beholden to government payments, and voting hard left.
You don't have to be a genius like Elon Musk to see the Democrat plan in motion and action. That's all they want to do. Blame Trump.
So these are broken promises. Max Miller, Donald Trump promised that food prices were going to go down as soon as they took office by a lot. The opposite has happened because of all of their tariffs.
You know, the hashtag for that report, like that one, for that guy running for Congress, Trump inflation crisis. I mean, it's all such a joke, and you just see it. Affordability crisis. I see all the headlines. It's not real. It's important to call out the left every single time they do this. And what they're doing, you have to recognize it. You have to be cognizant when you are being manipulated by their terminology and the media carrying water for them, because we know that words matter, because words shape the narrative. Remember, libs purposely use the word insurrection instead of riot for January 6th, right? Gender ideology instead of gender dysphoria. It's a hide that, of course, is dysfunctional. Transgender instead of gender mutilation, chopping off PPs and whatever. And the latest leftist narrative, the affordability crisis, which really means Biden's economy that Trump inherited. It's why the president held a rally in Pennsylvania last night to separate the fact from the fiction.
We're dealing with bad people. And the word affordability is the exact same thing. And I can't say affordability hoax because I agree the prices were too high. So I can't go to hoax because they'll misconstrue that. But they use the word affordability, and that's their only word. They say affordability. And everyone says, oh, that must mean Trump has high prices. No, our prices are coming down tremendously from the highest prices in the history of our country.
The Democrats are weaponizing the very economy their policies destroyed. Even CNBC nuking the Democrat narrative that somehow high prices are all of Trump's fault.
But the affordability issue is from the 22% increase in prices and inflation under Biden. There's just full stop right there. That's the affordability issue. And you ought to be able to explain that better.
Right. That's right. And look, I think that with the economic team, President Trump and the economic team led by Scott Bessent, you have people who very much understand this. And it was they were thrown, you know, what I would say the worst economy for the average American in my adult lifetime.
In less than a year, Trump has brought down inflation dramatically. Gas prices down, increased employment. He's lowered interest rates. He lowered grocery store prices. He's lowering taxes. And, you know, and speaking of taxes, I mean, look at this headline. Again, CNBC, taxpayers may see record tax refund because of Trump. Yet here's what House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says needs to be done in order to improve the economy.
Well, here's what we should do. We need to get rid of the Trump tariffs. And we cannot be confident that the Supreme Court will actually follow the law, because rarely during the Trump presidency have they done that. Instead, they've just bent the knee to Donald Trump and his extreme agenda over and over and over again.
I mean, you know, Jeffries, these tariffs, they're bringing in billions with a B of dollars of revenue every year, roughly $350 billion. So much so that the president says Americans may get refund checks. And it's how he gave farmers $12 billion in aid.
Right out of a tariff money, cost us nothing. Right out of the hundreds of billions that we've taken in, we gave the farmers a little help, $12 billion. And they are so happy, and all they want is a level playing field, and now it's happening, and the tariffs are making them rich. It's going to be, you're going to see what happens over the next 2 years. It's like a miracle is taking place, but we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, really trillions.
In addition to the revenue, the Trump administration said that Trump tariffs also gave the U.S. leverage when it came to trade deals. Tariffs also brought industries like steel back to the United States because Trump is making domestic production profitable again.
President Trump has consistently fought for the American worker, and we are seeing trillions of investments in the U.S. that would not have occurred without the tariffs.
The misinformation campaign on this affordability crisis, it's in overdrive because what else can they pick on Trump about, right? Democrats think that if they tell the same lie over and over and over again, that somehow it becomes the truth.
I'm assuming 2026 we end up in a recession. I'm just assuming that. And I think people should brace themselves for the economy to get really bad, because when a small number of people get rich and you don't expand the middle, and when the bottom gets poorer, there's no way to sustain an economy like that.
Oh, joyless read. You've lost your job and now you're mine, because the truth is everything a Democrat touches goes to, well, you know, from D.C. to Chicago, New York City, San Francisco, and of course, the economy. This is what happens under Democrat rule. Folks, you know, I get it. You heard the president say it too. It's been tough making ends meet sometimes, but there is light at the end of this tunnel. And thankfully, we have Trump in the White House lighting the way. Joining me now to discuss Grover Norquist. He's the president of Americans for Tax Reform. Grover, thank you so much for joining us. Do you agree with those analysts, and you're hearing it time and time again, that Trump inherited this economy, this so-called affordability crisis?
Well, we certainly know that the tremendous increase in government spending that Biden did, all of the subsidies that he put out, the ones that we're finally beginning to reduce and eliminate some of them, increased the debt, and the printing of the new money and the overspending gave us 20% plus inflation increase. Now, we're now talking about inflation's way down as a result of moving away from Biden's position. The president's also led on deregulation, on removing the regulatory burdens. We were heading, because of all the regulatory burdens on cars, on autos, on energy, we were going to see prices skyrocket even more out into the next few years. These are being reversed so that the kind of jumps in the cost of electricity and gasoline are not happening, and you're seeing gas prices fall with more production and more investment to do more production. One of the things the president accomplished was he made permanent, for the first time in American history, full expensing. So when a business buys new equipment, buys new trucks for the business, new computers, new manufacturing equipment, you expense it, and you don't pay taxes on it because you don't have it, you just spent it. In the old days, it would take you many years to depreciate that, and it's a tremendous cost to new job-creating investment. Investment per worker is what makes people more productive and get paid more. That's the big change over the next several years, as you saw in 2019, the last time the president did this.
What do you make about the HUD report saying that this influx of unchecked migration contributed to the housing crisis, supply and demand, affordability? We see home prices, the average home, $415,000. That's expensive for most Americans.
Well, you're certainly seeing all of the NIMBY stuff, not in my backyard, all of the rules on getting a permit to build a house, to expand a house, to work on a house. This makes it very difficult for people to have new housing. And the regulatory costs on housing, estimates are 25%, 40% of the cost of a house can be the delays, the permits, and the regulatory burden. Out west, the land is all owned by the federal government, and so there's very little land you can actually build houses on. The president's moving to reform all of those to make housing more affordable. We need millions more houses in the United States.
Democrats are either lying or I think maybe delusional. I want you to take a listen to what Kentucky Democrat Governor Andy Beshear had to say when CNN asked him about Joe Biden's economy.
Well, the former administration was attempting to build the economy of tomorrow, investing in really important industries like EVs, in chips, in areas for our national security that we've got to catch up with the rest of the world.
Were they successful
at
that, Governor?
Have said that the Biden administration was building the economy of tomorrow.
So you just heard there the CNN host say, were they successful? And he couldn't answer the question because we already know the answer.
Yeah. Well, that governor is supposed to be one of the moderates of the Democratic Party, so it tells you a lot about that party.
Grover Norquist, sir, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. And speaking of words mattering, the next story is bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-S. If you're a millennial like myself, then you know Gwen Stefani, this beautiful woman right here. She's behind hits like I'm Just a Girl and Don't Speak. Well, the left is trying to cancel her because look at these headlines. Gwen Stefani slammed for promoting anti-abortion app. I said to my husband, there's an anti-abortion app? And that's when I realized that the news articles were referring to Stephanie promoting Hallow, a prayer and meditation app, which never mentions abortion, by the way.
It is important this holiday season to spend time in prayer. That is what Christmas is all about. letting God into our hearts and letting Jesus bring us his peace. Download Hallow today and join me and millions of others in praying every day this Advent and Christmas season on Hallow.
And that's why they're trying to cancel her. A celebrity is being demonized simply for encouraging prayer during Christmas. Joining me now, actor Cain. Dean, what struck me the most is how they kept saying it was an anti-abortion app, because the left knows they have to create a BS narrative. They can't say, oh, yeah, we want to cancel her because she's encouraging prayer, so then they make something up. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's patently insane, Lydia. If I put it, those are the words I would find. I mean, it's Christmas. What does Christmas celebrate? The birth of Jesus Christ. It's a religious holiday, which was, well, it's been co-opted by commercialism, but it's still about celebrating the birth of Christ. And she's Catholic. So, I mean, she's just basically talking about her faith. And if people want to go on there and pray with her and go to that app, they're welcome to. They also can decline to go on that app. It's another opportunity. And I think it's wonderful what she's doing. I fully support it. You know, there are people who want folks othering people. They profit from it. There's race hustlers, climate alarmists, folks with severe Trump derangement syndrome, for sure. Marxists who are anti-religion, anti-family, anti-everything this country was built upon. So, you know, I don't, if you are Christian or you're Catholic and you want to pray, you have this opportunity. Going after her for that, there's nothing about abortion in there unless you look at the religion. Well, in that case, why don't they go after Islam? Why don't they go after other religions as well? They won't, because it's in vogue these days to bash Christianity. So God bless her, Gwen Stefani, good for her. You know, it's cute, the people who are attacking her, you know, I don't want to holla back now and all that sort of silly stuff. You know, it's easy. I played Superman. It's easy for them to come after me for things in that sense. But good for her standing up for what she believes in. I don't think it's, you know, sure, she'll make some money over it, but it's not about that. It's about professing her faith and supporting her faith, especially at this time around Christmas, which is a religious holiday. So good for you, Gwen. Yeah. Don't listen to the haters, whoever they are. I looked at some of those articles. I don't even know who those people are.
One of them is this woman. She's a failed reality TV star, left her good, really hot husband, by the way, and starts dating this woman who claims she's non-binary. Her name is G Flip. I know I got way too deep into it, but I was like, are you kidding me? And speaking of like the left's obsession, yeah, this is the woman. It's unbelievable. A new report revealing that 41% of Netflix's children's content features LGBTQ plus narratives. Why is the left so obsessed with trying to brainwash our kids, Dean? Why do you think that is?
I honestly think it goes back to that Marxism, that whole group of Marxist folks who are anti-family, anti-religion, anti-everything. I mean, they think that government is the answer, and government, as Ronald Reagan said back in the day, one of my favorite presidents until President Trump came along, you know, he says the problem, you know, government isn't the answer to your problems. Government is the problem. So look, there are people who want to go out there and they chant, celebrate your abortion. I can't think of anything more disgusting than that. So, you know, things are extremely tribal right now. They're othering everybody all the time. I've been called everything, you know, in the book. You know, there's everyone I disagree with is a Nazi, and all that craziness going on. And I think it's just about that. They claim tolerance, but they're completely intolerant of a different opinion.
Well, next to Christopher Reeve, you are my favorite Superman. Second.
I'll
I mean,
take
Christopher
that.
Reeve is the, you know, you got to give it to him. I mean, he was the
Christopher
best.
Reeve is my favorite Superman.
Right? And then you're right up there, number 2. Watched you all the
I'll
time.
take
My
it.
sister and I would watch you all the time. Dean Cain, thank you so much for joining us.
God bless, Lydia.
Thank you. Same to you. All right, coming up. With only a few weeks to go before another shutdown, Senate Republicans have a proposal to give Americans more of a say in their health care. We'll talk to Senator Ron Johnson about that a little later. But first, Democrats cry over a so-called affordability crisis, but turned a blind eye as billions of taxpayer dollars were wasted in fraud. One reporter has been exposing all of this and was on Capitol Hill today to discuss it. Luke Rosiak joins us next.
Federal agencies urge every family to have an emergency radio. During any disaster, electrical power may get cut. The emergency radio gives you the vital information you need. Newsmax wants you to have the Dynamo Emergency Band Radio. It doesn't need batteries and works in any emergencies. It retails for $30. You can get it with the free offer. Call or go online and get the emergency radio today. Your life may depend on it.
Anybody who's struggling with alcohol should try Or Health. Within a week, the cravings were completely gone. Or Health is safe, science-backed, and it works. I couldn't believe how easy it was. Alcohol doesn't run my life anymore.
Text Newsmax to 710-710 to learn more.
Hi, I'm Wade Alar, the national TV and radio host known as the MAGA warrior and the capitalist evangelist. This presidency is ushering in the golden age of prosperity, and it's all built around making America the energy capital of the world. Enter Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. It took 40 years to piece together this 40,000-acre giant gas discovery. It's estimated to contain up to 6 trillion cubic feet of gas, with a management forecast projecting the first 25 wells alone to produce 400 million cubic feet per day of natural gas. This is how we power the AI future of America with clean natural gas. Headed by oil and gas legend Mark Bruner, whose previous public companies delivered spectacular returns for investors. At their peaks, Pedico Energy grew about 100 to 1 for investors. Ultra Petroleum grew about 1,000 to 1 for investors. To learn more about Lost Soldier Oil and Gas, scan the QR code on the screen or go to lostsoldier.com. That's lostsoldier.com.
It's the Blue Compass RV annual Blue Tag clearance. Save over 40% on select new RVs during our largest sale of the year. Plus, every RV comes with a 1-year VIP membership to RV Complete, a $5,000 value. Visit us online or in store today.
I'm talking about bureaucrats approving PPP loans for applicants who used pictures of dolls for IDs. Imagine giving Barbie or Ken a taxpayer-funded loan.
Iowa Senator Joni Ernst today kicking off a hearing today for the Senate Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee, giving an example of the fraud plaguing the federal government, of course, when it comes to taxpayer funding for businesses. Ernst saying that in 2024 alone, federal agencies spent $162 billion with a B in improper payments. Luke Rosiak is a government efficiency reporter at the Daily Wire and was a witness at today's hearing. Luke, thank you so much for joining us. Epic fraud, waste, and abuse. It never ends. Just when you think you know, Somalia, we talk about $1 billion there, upwards of $8 billion here. How is it possible for fraud to be this rampant?
Yeah, thanks for having me. The hearing today was really wild because it hit a program that we don't hear about too often, but reminds me a lot of the Somali welfare fraud in Minnesota, times 1,000. And this is called the 8A program. It's a minority set-aside program where 5% of all federal contracts are doled out based on race or gender or other disadvantaged status. And so what it means is you don't even have to compete the contracts. Like if you were going to take a tree down in your backyard or have a plumber come over, you'd probably call around and get a couple bids. If you can say you're disadvantaged, they'll just give you the work without even comparing for price and value elsewhere. And what we found is that, number one, just like in the Somali welfare scheme, there are benefits where our government is prioritizing foreigners over Americans, because this program was made in the 70s for black people, basically, but now you have a lot of immigrants and other ethnicities in the mix. So you have people who are just coming over here, they're first-generation immigrants, and they're actually prioritized for government contracts with our money over native-born white male Americans. And then the second thing that reminds me of the Somali fraud is the fact that everybody knew there was fraud going on in this minority set-aside program, and nobody said a word because they were all in on it. And the fraud that I'm talking about is you give the minorities would get the contracts, and then they would subcontract it out to white people anyway. So they're basically just skimming off a portion and making everything in government more expensive.
So DEI, because the Somali thing too, every time you talk to people there, they said, oh yeah, we knew about it for years, and then they even threatened to sue them. They don't want to be called the R word, not the one Tim Walz is being called, the other one, racist. And that is what is at the crux of all of this, the Somali community in Maine and Minnesota. And President Trump last night, he addressed how Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is now looking into all of it. Look at this.
He is in charge of the investigation of Somalia and the billions of dollars they have robbed from Minnesota. If he's honest and fair, you know what he's going to find? It's great. I'd love to have that job. They may switch jobs with you. I'd love to have that job. They ought to get him the hell out of here. They hate our country, and she hates our country.
Yeah, he ripped apart Ilhan Omar. What do you think about the president, the investigation there? A lot of people under arrest so far, but I mean, we're talking billions of dollars, very widespread fraud and abuse.
Yeah, I mean, when you have these left-wing policies, they work in high-trust societies. So you can't really have mass immigration and left-wing policies. And that's what's happened here is there used to be nice people in Minnesota, and now you've got a lot of fraudsters in Minnesota where if the money is out there, they'll say what they need to say to get the money. And that's kind of what was discussed at this hearing as it relates to federal contracting as well. They're giving out money based on race. Well, how do you prove that? Elizabeth Warren could claim to be a Native American, so she should get a government contract without even having to compete it. Cory Booker would actually be eligible for these disadvantaged contracts because the only requirement is that you have less than $850,000 in your bank, plus you be a minority. So some of these DEI programs are illegal, especially after the Supreme Court rulings that have come out recently. And it'll be interesting to see how, basically even the liberals can't bring some of these programs back. It's illegal, the stuff they were doing for years, and it's got to end. But to some extent, unfortunately, we live in a world now where if government gives out money for anything, there are going to be people, a large number of people, who abuse it because a lot of them come from cultures where that's just what you do.
Luke Rosiak, great job, great reporting. Look forward to having you back on again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Lydia.
All right, some breaking news right now from Capitol Hill. The House just voted to begin a debate on the repeal of President Trump's executive order stripping federal employees of union rights. The vote was 222 to 200, with 13 Republicans voting with the Democrats. Those rhinos. All right, coming up, Governor Tim Walz is living in a fantasy world. You're not going to believe what he said this time, that, and much more in our Culture Clash next.
Newsmax
shoots it straight. No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
I know that you need a balance of fruits and vegetables. I mean, my grandma told me that, my mom told me that. What's there to lose in taking balance of nature?
This Christmas, get our best price for life when you order the whole health system as a new preferred customer. Go to balanceofnature.com.
Kevin Sorbo here, and I have an important message to share. The government needs more money, your money. If you owe the IRS back taxes, they can garnish your wages and levy your bank accounts. They can even seize your retirement or take your home. Don't let the IRS target you. Call the professionals at Tax Network USA. Their tax lawyers and enrolled agents are experts in powerful programs that may even help you eliminate your tax debt.
Call for a free consultation or visit tnusa.com.
Hi, folks. I'd like to tell you about YRefi. Did you know that as an accredited investor, when you invest in YRefi, your interest rate is fixed? And did you know that you can invest from 1 to 5 years and you can spread your investment over those terms to best suit your needs? And you have the freedom to take your monthly interest income or reinvest it, whatever you choose. When you invest in YRefi, your interest is calculated daily, you're paid monthly, and should you need your money back early, there is a liquidity feature. Would you like more information? All you have to do is call 877-80-INVEST. That's 877-80-INVEST, or log on to investyrrefi.com. That's investyrrefi.com for complete details. And make sure you review the private placement memorandum and scan this QR code to view the disclosure at your leisure. YRefi, investing in America's future.
Hey guys, Viagra is not your only option. Rose Sparks act fast and stay active longer. They aren't pills. Sparks dissolve under your tongue to reach your bloodstream for speedy results. Connect with a provider at ro.co/sparks.
This isn't your average pill. This is Rose Sparks. Rose Sparks. Rose Sparks. Rose Sparks.
Rose Sparks is a fast-acting solution because it dissolves under your tongue.
Rose Sparks.
Guys, get started today.
Connect with a provider to find out if Rose Sparks are right for you.
Radical jihadists are not done
Iran promises death to America. They've built sleeper terror cells in the U.S. They support terror groups out to destroy Israel, including Hamas, whose founding charter calls for Islam to dominate the world.
The young people have been educated to believe that the most sacred thing they do is stab a Christian in the heart.
The only democracy in the Middle East that supports religious freedom is Israel. Standing for freedom, not terror.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
This notion of toxicity and masculinity needs to be separated. And I think it's been conflated. And I think we're going to have to work on that a little bit. And I think there is a crisis.
I think some of us scare them. I think I scare them a little bit why they spend so much time on this. No, I'm serious, because I can fix a truck. They know I'm not on this.
Even Governor Hare couldn't keep a straight face when Tim Walz said that we're threatened by his masculinity. Or come on, Tim, we are concerned that you, at the very least, looked the other way while Somalians in your state stole hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars. Joining me now is Brittany Hughes, managing editor at MRC TV. Also with us, Chrissy Clark, Newsmax contributor. I mean, I guess, Brittany, Walz, he oozes alpha male energy, right? Oozes it.
Absolutely, especially when he doesn't know the business end of a shotgun like we saw during the campaign. Look, this is also the guy that wanted to put tampons in boys' bathrooms. I don't think that a debate about his masculinity is really one that he wants to start. Nobody is afraid of him. What I am concerned with, what I am a little bit afraid of, however, is the way that he's been governing his state. I mean, we're talking about billions of dollars in fraud that have been stolen from the American taxpayer right under Tim Walz's nose. The officials in his own state are sounding the alarm and saying, look, not only has this been going on for a long time, not only have we known about it, but Tim Walz's office has known about this, and they have looked the other way because, let's be honest, you need the Somali vote to win Minneapolis, and you need Minneapolis to win the state. So that's what I'm concerned about. But whether or not Tim Walz can change a tire, all I've got to say is video or it never happened.
You know, it's crazy because he could have become the vice president of the United States, and this next person could have become the president. This is Kamala Harris. She is completely delusional. She said this about herself being a historic figure. I understand the focus on 28 and all that, but there will be a marble bust of me in Congress. I am a historic figure like any vice president of the United States ever was. Now, Chrissy, my question to you is, if they do put up a statue of Kamala, will it have an alcoholic drink in her hand? Well, she...
It should.
It
should if it was accurate.
That would be cool, right?
Yes, it should if it was accurate. No, I think that rarely do people who make history, who are actually historic figures, sit around and think about what historic figures they become. I think that somebody who has now become a historic figure is Charlie Kirk, and rarely ever, if ever, did he think about what he was doing in terms of the legacy that he was building. He was thinking about day by day building a coalition and making progress and making change. Kamala Harris is far more concerned with what people think about her and what her marble statue is going to look like than actually winning an election, because she's never done that.
I want to get to these next two stories
California.
In Vermont. The Winooski, or I don't know, what school district, whatever, it's in Vermont, raised a Somali flag. Yes, they raised a Somali flag. Even worse, it's on school grounds. The school superintendent said the school has now been targeted by hateful messages, so they took down their website, but they refused to take down the flag. The only flag that should ever be raised outside of a home, outside anywhere, is the American flag. Brittany, your thoughts on that?
I think this is what so many Americans are absolutely disgusted by. It has nothing to do with not wanting to welcome people from other countries into this country, provided that they do so legally, that they plan to assimilate into this country and plan to contribute to the country that has given them so much, including a free place, to live. But I think that, this is what the left does. We see it so often. They raise up all of these flags, but they ignore the actual issues that are happening.
Right.
When you see girls getting trounced by men in sports and having to give up their spaces and being violated in bathrooms
Right.
and locker rooms by men, they'll just raise up a transgender flag and expect that to be, the virtue signaling that makes all the problems go away. And it doesn't make the billions of dollars in fraud go away. You still have that problem. And all this does, I think, is continue to disgust Americans who want to see these issues fixed and have absolutely no time for this nonsense.
I want to get to this story just when you thought you heard it all. Kentucky Representative Sarah Stalker says she feels really horrible about this. Real quick response from you, Chrissy, after this. Listen to this.
I don't feel good about being white every day for a lot of reasons. Because it's a point of privilege that I get to move through the world in a way that so many of my other colleagues and friends and family members of the community don't get the privilege to do.
I had to play that soundbite. I know. See, your face says it all. I know. I had to play it. Like, you had to hear it, to see it, to believe it.
I really thought that we left all of this in 2022 at the latest. I don't understand why this is still an argument or still a discussion or still some sort of valid criticism. The color of your skin does not negate your intelligence or your point of privilege. It's ridiculous.
It really is. Brittany and Chrissy, thank you both.
Thanks, Lydia.
Thanks, Lydia.
Coming up, the battle over health care front and center on Capitol Hill. Senate Republicans and Democrats are gearing up for a vote on dueling bills with Obamacare subsidies. Does either bill stand a chance? And the showdown between the U.S. and Maduro intensifying after Trump announces the seizure of an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. Details on both stories next with Senator Ron Johnson.
Think of all the places that could expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second and quickly alerts you if we detect any suspicious activity, like changes to your investment accounts, home title, or new loans in your name. All through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. LifeLock, for the threats you can't control.
There are only a few men I'd trust with my life. Two of them built this wallet. I've known the guys behind Proof for nearly 20 years, and we've been through hell and back together. When they told me they were building the wallet, I just said, bill me now, I'm in. This isn't some fashion piece. This isn't just some trend. These wallets are a direct reflection of the kind of men who built it. It's built to last, built to function, and designed to carry everything you need and more. If anything happens to it, they'll take care of it. No questions, no fine print. If you knew the guys who created this wallet, you wouldn't carry anything else. Go check them out, because they built this thing right.
Hi, I'm Trudy of Johnny Chick's Home and Hardware. Customers ask me all the time how to prepare for cold weather and avoid costly plumbing problems. My answer is the Freeze Miser. It installs in seconds without tools and activates only when the water temperature drops below 37 degrees. The Freeze Miser releases the minimal amount of water needed to prevent freezing. It's perfect for your home, farm and ranch, RV, water wells, and much more. Ask for the Freeze Miser at your favorite hardware or farm and ranch store or go to freezemiser.com.
There's nothing worse than losing your dog before their time. So why do so many dog foods contain awful things a human would never eat? To save his pets, world-famous veterinarian Dr. Marty knew he had to change what was in their bowl.
That's why I created Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, my breakthrough formula that's changed everything about dog food.
Nature's Blend contains nothing but all-natural ingredients, designed to help dogs with everything from digestive issues to itching and paw licking, even moving around better. And that's because Nature's Blend is freeze-dried. So instead of destroying the nutrients with high heat, we gently preserve them, and you'll see the difference in your dog.
Take it from a veterinarian with over 50 years of experience saving dogs' lives. I have never seen a food make this much impact on a dog's health.
Such a huge difference in her health. More energy, more playful, no more pooping issues.
He's healthier, he looks better.
Dr. Marty has thousands of 5-star reviews. And for a limited time, get up to 54% off Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, plus a free gift with our special TV offer. Call or go to drmartypets.com/TV. That's drmartypets.com/TV.
At Allegiance, we do it differently. Flags 100% made in America, by Americans, with American materials.
We're proud to create jobs right here in South Carolina. It might not be the easiest way, but it's the right way.
We make American flags the way they should be made, where they should be made.
Join our pledge to keep the American flag truly American.
Visit showallegiance.com to get your high-quality American flag today. That's showallegiance.com.
Your parents have given you some amazing gifts, but what about the inherited ones? Celebrate them with Ancestry DNA, the simple test that shows your deep family roots from your mom's side and your dad's side, with some serious detail. Trace the journeys and history that shaped who you are today, and see the traits they passed down. Your connections to the past are all waiting. See just how gifted you are for only $29.
The battle over how to fix health care now hitting the Senate floor. Tomorrow, the U.S. Senate will vote on two dueling health care plans, one from Democrats, the other from Republicans. The Republican proposal puts federal dollars from insurance subsidies into American savings accounts. President Trump liking that plan thus far.
What we're doing is we want all of the billions and billions of dollars that went to insurance companies to go directly to the people, and they can buy their own health care. And people love it. I don't know if the Democrats are going to approve it because they want the insurance companies to make money. It was a scam. Obamacare was a scam.
It certainly is. And as always, President Trump putting the American people first. Joining me now to discuss Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. What do you think the outcome will be? And what do you think about the president's comments there that Democrats want to make insurance companies richer, whereas Republicans want to make Americans richer?
Thanks for having me on. The president is absolutely right. You know, unfortunately, Democrats simply aren't taking the first step that we need to solve a problem, which is admitting you have a problem. They're in complete state of denial that Obamacare has been a miserable failure. People couldn't keep their doctor, couldn't keep their health plan. Premiums didn't decline by $2,500 a family. They've skyrocketed. By one measurement, 169% increase since the implementation of Obamacare. That's 4.3 times the rate of inflation increase. So it's been a miserable failure. I'm happy to work with any Democrat who's willing to admit that, repair the damage done by Obamacare, and transition to a system that works. And what Republicans are trying to do is start us on that path where you introduce consumerism, free market competition. That's why you give the federal subsidies to individuals, let them buy the health care plan they want. But we need to start transferring to things like HSAs, where people pay more of the first dollar coverage, and let insurance cover the big things.
You know, House Speaker Mike Johnson, he spoke about it earlier today, sending a message to Democrats. Let's take a listen.
They broke the American healthcare system. They caused premiums to skyrocket. And now they have the audacity to tell Republicans that the only way to save it is to throw hundreds of billions of dollars to health insurance companies, which would merely fuel a system that is rife with fraud, waste, and abuse. You cannot be an arsonist and a firefighter at the same time.
Throw money at the problem, fraud, waste, abuse. It's right out of the Democrat playbook, sir.
Correct. So we know that there's probably 6 million people on the exchange out of the 24 million people that are phantom. Because of the enhanced premiums created no premium policies. Unscrupulous brokers have signed people up without their knowledge. Insurance companies have collected close to $30 billion annually on these fraudulent policies. The no-claim policy has gone from about 20% up to 40%, so this is obviously a problem. People are being prosecuted for it. But again, Democrats are in a complete state of denial. They could care less. By voting to extend these enhanced premiums, they're voting to perpetuate that massive fraud. Again, putting a lot of money in brokers and the insurance companies' pockets. It's not bringing down the cost of health care. It's causing those insurance premiums to skyrocket.
And Senator, before I let you go, you are on the Homeland Security Committee, and as we mentioned, President Trump says the U.S. has seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. Let's take a listen.
We've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually.
It seems like the tensions between the United States and Maduro, it's escalating. Your thoughts, sir, on the seizure of this oil tanker?
Well, first of all, Maduro is not a legitimate regime. He lost the election. He continued to hold power. It is a narco-terrorist state flooding our streets with deadly drugs. They've basically declared war on us. So President Trump is ramping up the pressure. I don't know much about this this tanker, but apparently it was Iranian flagged. It was under sanction. They tried to put it under another flag, and we're just basically doing what we need to do to put pressure on the Maduro regime to get the duly elected, the legitimately elected government put in place in Venezuela.
Senator Ron Johnson, sir, thank you so much for joining us.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Same to you. Coming up, speaking of Christmas, have yourself a very woke Christmas? Well, that's exactly what the left wants. Christmas without Christ. Wait until you hear what one Catholic church did. All that and much more right here on Frontline.
They killed her brother. They shot her dog. And they took her hostage for 400 days and terrifying nights. They raped her. They put guns to her head. They starved her. These are the stories of Israeli women attacked by Hamas. If you are supporting Hamas and radicalized Palestinians, this is what you are supporting. Choose freedom, not terror.
Hurry in for huge savings going on now at Motorhome Specialist, now with 2 locations. Shop and save on over 1,000 motorhomes, starting at $69,995, only at Motorhome Specialist, the #1 motorhome dealer in the world.
Do you have a yo-yo smile? Sometimes yellow, sometimes white. It's a constant battle between everyday stains and whitening treatments. Until now, get Smile Actives, the daily teeth whitening breakthrough that gives you a more youthful smile and helps you keep it.
At 43 years old, I don't mess around with products that waste my time. Smile Actives is easy, and it works. No gloopy trays, no messy strips. Just add a little bit on top of your toothpaste when you brush your teeth. And ta-da, white teeth.
Just add Smile Actives to your favorite toothpaste and watch the magic happen. Our patented Polyclean microfoam lifts away deep stains for a dramatically younger and whiter smile.
You have a choice. You can have those yellow teeth and just be old Nana or Pop-Pop, or you can be smiling and dazzling and full of confidence. I love my white teeth.
Scan, click, or call for your whitest smile yet. And if you order right now, we'll double your whitening free. Get an extra Smile Actives as our free gift to you, but only while supplies last.
I drink coffee every day. I started noticing that my teeth were not as bright as I'd like them to be, a little dingy. The Smile Active, it works. Got your boy gleaming.
100% of users saw whiter teeth. Smile Actives lifts away even the toughest stains from coffee, wine, and food, gently restoring your bright, youthful smile. Plus, it's safe for veneers, crowns, and dentures.
It's really a no-brainer if you want to whiten your teeth.
Clinically shown to brighten your teeth 5 shades whiter in just 7 days.
If you could use something so easy like Smile Actives to take yellow teeth to white teeth, why wouldn't you?
Act now. Get Smile Actives for just $24.95 and we'll double your order free. But hurry, this deal won't last. Smile Actives is guaranteed to work. Whiten your teeth or get your money back. No questions asked. Don't wait. Get Smile Actives for just $24.95 and we'll send you a second bottle absolutely free. That's free shipping, a free extra bottle. That's an incredible 58% savings. Scan the code, go to smileactives.com or call to get your beautiful whiter smile now.
I don't know about you, but I like things the easy way. That's why the Experian app is great. It shows me credit cards based on me and my credit. Right here in the app. Oh, look at that. I just found a new cashback card. Easy. Get the app from your big financial friend. Experian.
You better watch out. You certainly better not cry, and you better not pout, and I'm telling you why. ICE agents are coming to town. It has a nice ring to it, certainly, right? But this Christmas, one Catholic church went so woke, they replaced the nativity scene with a political statement. Look at it right here. St. Susanna Parish in Dedham, Massachusetts replaced the iconic nativity display of Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus. Baby Jesus, usually they don't put until Christmas Day, but it's empty. With a sign instead that says ICE was here. A small sign on the bottom of the display reads, "The Holy Family is safe in the sanctuary of our church. If you see ICE, please call Luce." Luce is also it's a so-called immigrant advocacy group that tracks activity of ICE agents in Massachusetts. You can't make this stuff up. Now, the Boston Archdiocese told the church to remove the display, but the church is refusing. Joining me now to discuss, Provincial Superior of the Marian Fathers of the Immaculate Conception, Father Chris Alar. Father Chris, this is truly shameful. We often hear it from the pulpits and politics, but to do something so outrageous, what's your reaction?
It's all the woke philosophy, which holds this antagonistic social theory. We've seen it. It's deconstructing language. It denies moral norms. It sees reality as just an incessant struggle between the oppressor and the oppressed. This is what ICE is, in their opinion. But this is not the answer. It's class warfare instituted by Marxism and the hatred of the West and the church, because really the West and the church is all that is standing in the way of the globalist agenda. And so the reason is, with the church, people submit to God and not to the state. But in Marxism, this new world order, people must submit to the state, not to God. Thus, the church has to be removed. So these are just symptoms of a much bigger picture.
You know, we call it Christmas because of the word Christ, which we're celebrating our Savior's birth. But even legendary comedians David Spade and Dana Carvey, they're not laughing about the left's obsession with refusing to even say the word Christmas. Take a look at this.
Christmas is taking a little bit of a beating lately. I saw the other day there was a tree lighting ceremony for the Christmas tree in some dopey mall. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
But it said tree lighting ceremony, and they were careful not to say the word Christmas during the whole ceremony.
No.
I'm like, this is not the year to be Christian. You're not allowed to slam someone else's religion.
Where is this obsession? Why can't they say the word Christmas?
Yeah, you know, even Pope Francis expressed real concern over cancel culture, like removing the word Christmas. He said the practice of silencing individuals, institutions, and even entire cultures that are determined to hold incorrect views or values is absolutely everything against what Christianity and charity stand for. You know, in our cancel culture, teachers are afraid of the founding fathers, the name of Jesus, or proper pronouns. You know, we Christians, Lydia, you know this, and thank you for bringing it out, is Christians don't mean to offend when they say marriage is between a man and a woman. That's simply God's law. But they're banned. We're banned from social media. We're fired from jobs. Now even being physically assaulted because someone is offended when Christians simply want to practice their own religion. My point is, we're called intolerant, but where's the tolerance of religion? You know, if athletes can kneel against the police, why can't Tim Tebow kneel to pray and thank God? But he was criticized for it. So it's such a double standard. It's such a double standard.
We have less than a minute, but you see it's being normalized, this whole kind of demonic oppression, infestation, the cartoon South Park. It goes too far. They try to be funny, but they took their latest skit to a whole new level. The show's recent holiday episode insulted Christians and President Trump, claiming that Satan was having the president's antichrist baby. 30 seconds to you, Father. Is the devil, is that famous line, the greatest trick that Satan ever played was convincing the world he didn't exist? It seems that he's sadly alive and well.
Right. Let's use the words of all people again. Archbishop Gomez in Los Angeles, the heart of the woke and the immigration and the ICE battles. He said that the critical theories like CRT and cancel culture and woke ideology, he said they're atheistic. He said they're even demonic because he said an integral part of the agenda is diversity, equity, and inclusion, these mandates.
Right.
They end up discriminating against members of groups that have not been determined to be oppressed or underrepresented.
Right.
So this is the whole issue.
Father Chris, we have to leave it right there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, before we go, a patriotic display of record-breaking proportions.
The press won't report the real story.
The American people are actually very smart.
Ridiculous statements.
These guys are just plain weird.
Actual scandals.
Even the immunity decision. I mean, that decision was so misreported.
That's my job, and I aim to do it every night.
There are only a few men I'd trust with my life. Two of them
built this wallet. I've known the guys behind Proof for nearly 20 years, and we've been through hell and back together. When they told me they were building the wallet, I just said, build me now, I'm in. This isn't some fashion piece. This isn't just some trend. These wallets are a direct reflection of the kind of men who built it. It's built to last, built to function, and designed to carry everything you need and more. If anything happens to it, they'll take care of it. No questions, no fine print. If you knew the guys who created this wallet, you wouldn't carry anything else. Go check them out, because they built this thing right.
Joining us is Dr. Drew from the Wellness Company with advice for dealing with seasonal colds and flu. Doctor?
Cold and flu season is here, and every year you or a loved one gets sick. Your doctor can't see you, waiting in a crowded urgent care is brutal. This is a particularly bad cold and flu season, and it's why doctors suggest every family needs an emergency medical kit. Your medical emergency kit is filled with essential prescriptions. It includes antibiotics like generic Z-Pak to get well faster, amoxicillin for pneumonia, strep throat, ear infections, plus prescriptions for nausea and UTIs, and even ivermectin. It's easy. Just match your symptoms to the prescription in your guidebook or call the telemedicine doctor standing by. Take your medication early and feel better faster. Having a medical emergency kit is like having an urgent care in your home. No waiting to see a doctor, no lines at the pharmacy.
Smart advice. We've shared the website and discount code below to save viewers $45. Order now and your kit will be rushed to your door. Thank you, doctor.
Derriere, caboose, booty, badunkadunk. No matter what you call it, if you have hemorrhoids, your tushy is no laughing matter. So don't use a cream that treats your rear end like a joke. Get serious relief with Recticare Advanced Hemorrhoidal Cream. Recticare Advanced is seriously effective with 2 powerful medicines for rapid dual-action relief, soothing the uncomfortable swelling, itching, and pain of your hemorrhoids. For serious hemorrhoid relief for your buns, get Recticare Advanced.
Now it's a great time to play Solitaire Grand Harvest and enjoy a new world of solitaire. Brr, a cold world. This Christmas, discover all the holiday fun with exciting features from Santa, like our winter tournaments, festive mini-games, and challenging levels. Ever built a farm in the snow? 'Tis the season to turn classic into fantastic. So download Solitaire Grand Harvest for free and see for yourself.
At Avocado, we believe everyone deserves organic sleep. That's why we created the Eco Organic Mattress for adults, kids, and even the littlest dreamers. Certified organic, safe, and supportive. Made with natural materials at a price that makes comfort affordable. Every purchase gives back through 1% for the planet. Discover the Eco Organic Collection at avocadomattress.com or a retailer near you. Avocado, dream of better.
Invest in Ukraine now. Ukraine is rebuilding, innovating, and shaping the future. Because Ukraine is the potential. Kyivstar is Ukraine's leading digital operator. Invests in Ukraine's connectivity, entertainment, ride-hailing, healthcare, and innovation. It's time to think opportunity. It's time to think Ukraine now.
Carl Higbie will be back tomorrow, but before we go, the White House trolling Hakeem Jeffries a short time ago with Buddy the Elf. The message at the bottom, the best way to spread Christmas cheer is shouting MAGA for all to hear. All right, what do you think about that? Look at that. I love it. They have, and he's wearing a sombrero. It's really cute.
That is cute. I like that.